Derrell Peel, our livestock marketing specialist, is here now. And Derrell, let's kind of talk about how the first part of the year is going, especially in terms of fed cattle and box beef. Start there.
Well, you know, the fed cattle market has been a little stronger than we expected. We ended last year with some strength, and we've carried that into the so far this year. In fact, we may have seen the seasonal highs a little bit early in late January, early February. It could even be the high for the year because we know there's going to be more pressure late in the year. On the other hand, we generally expect seasonal strength to carry through the first quarter, so we may have a chance here for a run-up. It's not dropping very much, and I don't really expect it to drop very much in terms of both fed cattle and box beef as we go through the rest of the first quarter here. So the markets are kind of holding steady, weakening just slightly, but you know, may have another chance for a run-up. We're getting some help right now with carcass weights being down. Winter weather has decreased carcass weights, so that's keeping beef production a little bit in check as we go forward, and that's going to help us out here in the next few weeks.
What's your take on feeder cattle markets then?
Feeder cattle markets have also been relatively strong. Of course, we had a good fourth quarter last year after a miserable low in October last year. We've carried that strength into the first part of the year. There's pretty good demand, you know, especially for the lighter weight cattle right now. We're still grazing wheat, and in fact, there's a lot of interest in wheat graze out, so some continuing demand for that, and I think we'll, you know, again, continue to see some strength in these feeder cattle prices.
I know a lot of people really happy to see the rain, me included. Talk about the impact on wheat pasture and kind of what's going on at this stage.
You know, the rain is very timely. We desperately needed it, not only for fire conditions, but also for the wheat pasture. There is a lot of interest in grazing out wheat. Again, the grain prospects are not very good. You know, and so with this rain to keep us going, it looks like the wheat is probably maturing a little bit early this year. So we're moving into first hollow stem depending on the variety of wheat. Producers that are interested in harvesting grain need to be monitoring that very carefully. But again, there's a lot of interest in grazing it out. We're probably going to wind up with more wheat pasture than there is cattle to stock it, because it takes a lot more cattle to graze out wheat. So there's still some demand for these feeder cattle. I suspect beyond that we'll also see a fair amount of this wheat get put up for hay later in the year, since we probably won't be able to graze it all out.
I want to circle back to the USDA reports that we talked about a couple of weeks ago. Let's talk about Oklahoma in particular and some of the trends that you've observed.
You know, Oklahoma has really changed dramatically over the last few years. If we go back to 2010, the January 1 beef cow inventory in Oklahoma was the largest. It had been trending up generally for several years, was at the largest level since 1984. Then the drought hit in 2011, and by January of 2013, at the low in Oklahoma, we were down to the lowest state beef cow herd since 1962. We began recovery in 2013, a year ahead of the rest of the country, basically. And by 2017, the newest numbers we've got show that we have surpassed the 2010 level, and we're back to the highest beef cow herd since 1984 once again. So we've added about 24%, almost 24% to the beef cow herd in 4 years in Oklahoma. It's a very dramatic turnaround. It shows how the industry and how producers can respond when the market signals are there, which was what the high prices in 2014 and 2015 were all about.
A lot of work by a lot of people, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
Derrell, thanks a lot. We'll see you soon.